Alrighty, so anyway, so I got some really old. I remember why I bought this now. This is probably about 10 years old, but this is a antibacteria lemon ultra whatever. I know some of the guy. You look at how old this is. Stuff. It's probably over 10 years old. I got same. This vinegar is probably over 10 years old. I was actually using this stuff to tan some hides. Now I got no hooks or nothing in here, but it's just basically the lemony fresh scent. A lot of guys say that Hope lemon scented dish soap was really good to use, but I had that, so I figured I'd use it. But what I'm doing initially, okay, you can see I have the fishing box all kind of cleaned up. It doesn't stink as much. This is just basically dish soaped and cleaned with those. And you can even see like all the dust and dirt and grime that was in the fishing box and in the lures. Now what I got over here in the pail, okay, we'll get to that in a second, but what I got in the pail here, my tootie brush and a cocktail of, if we can get of hooks and lures. Yes, that looks very dangerous. There's no doubt about that. But the idea here is the initial. What I'm doing is I'm just trying to get better lighting. I don't want my hand in there because, you know, for obvious reasons. But basically what I'm doing, you can see the water's already starting to turn brown a bit. All the dirt that's on there. This is just like a preliminary cleaning. And then what I'll do is I'll take these all out and I will rinse them all. And almost all, nice thing is they're almost all stuck together. Problem is I got some small hooks and stuff in here too. So what I'll probably do is just kind of let the suds kind of subside, and then I'll find like a strainer or something to pour all this stuff in so I don't lose any small hooks anywhere and get any of my hands or anything. But you can see you can already see the lures starting to get, number one, they're wet, so they're getting shinier because they're wet. But you can already see that they're getting a little bit cleaner, just the stuff that was grunged up on them. Now in here, again, I'll do this a little bit more, just to kind of clean them up. And that's just an old toothbrush. You don't want to know where that toothbrush has been, boy. I tell you, that thing has cleaned some nasty things. But this here is basically almost, there's a little bit of water in there, but it's almost solid vinegar. Now I want to end with the vinegar because the reason why I'm going to go with the vinegar is that vinegar won't leave a smell. Now, I'm wondering how well rubbing alcohol would work on this. But you can see already like the colors are starting to pop again on this. And I'm going to do some other things such as, what do you call it? See if I can get them on the side there so you can see some nice color there. The Big O, this is the Big O plug popper. And I want to get these colors to pop up a bit again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the hair dryer, and I've seen a guy do a trick with that. It really pops out the colors. So hopefully I don't ruin this. I'll experiment with this one, but I would love to see the colors really pop on this. I know this camera, my cell phone camera, is very grainy and it's almost like it would be better if it was in black and white. This thing really doesn't capture color well, but same process. Soapy water, clean it up like you would your dishes very carefully. And, you know, like again, just regular dish soap, so not too environmentally dangerous. Then what I'll do is I'll rinse these off with some fresh water in the sink and probably put it in some sort of non-metal strainer just so you don't get any more smell. You know what I mean? It's the smell is the biggest thing I want to remove, even more than the rust, believe it or not. But yeah, you want to get the rust off there too. So it's sitting in the vinegar. This is a small dish just for, you know, I don't want to make a big mess. But if you can get a bigger dish, you can do more at once. And then I'm going to use the final cleaning will be with the toothbrush here. You can use anything. And just very carefully go over everything a little bit more to make sure any sort of dirt or crud is off of it. But the number one thing is that the vinegar, you can put it out on paper towel to dry or whatever, and I'll show you that. But you could also use that to do a few other things, such as, you know, like once you clean it up, you let it dry, and the vinegar will evaporate. That's why the more more vinegar, kind of the better. But the problem is vinegar might, on some sensitive lures, might actually remove the paint or finish. So just be careful of that too. So maybe don't leave it in too strong a vinegar for too long, but you do want to kind of sterilize those hooks. Again, I don't know how well rubbing alcohol would work on the hooks and stuff like that, but it wouldn't hurt. After I'm all done this, as a final thing, dip them in some rubbing alcohol for 10-20 minutes. Then give them a clean. I mean, you don't have to leave it in there for hours on end, because some people say leave it in there for over 20 hours or whatever. I think that might be, I mean, you're probably going to be able to deal with it a lot sooner than that. I mean, you're only removing a lot of times just some surface rust. I mean, if the hooks are really bad, if they're that rusted, that bad, you're probably better off to just replace the hook anyway, because what'll happen is a barb will break and it stays stuck in the fish, and the fish will get infected and suffer. So you don't want that, right? So not only that, you'll be losing probably a big fish, and that's going to be your meal for the day. You don't want that either. So, I mean, hooks are cheap. You can buy hook swivels, all that. If you do upgrade your hooks, buy stainless. Yeah, you'll pay a little bit more for them. You'll get less for your money. But boy, unless you're losing them, they last and last and last. And, stainless, it doesn't hold the smell of steel. It doesn't rust. It does oxidize over time, but, by that time, you're going to be old and gray, dead and gone. You'll be sick of fishing anyway. So that's one way to do it. So again, I'm going to let it sit in the vinegar. I have it sit in the vinegar now for about maybe 10 minutes. And I'll take it out and I'll clean it with a toothbrush. I'll rinse it off, then I'll clean it with the toothbrush, first, and then, with just regular clean water, no soap, no nothing, just to get the smell off of it. Give it one final rinse, and then, I'll pull out the hairdryer and see if I can pop out the colors on this thing again. All right, there we go.